This is Steve from Steve 87th at Puget Sound and Pacific Railroad. Just kind of doing a follow-up on the train show. So, of course, you went and saw all the layouts that I got to see and all that, but there was a lot of vendors there. So, this time of the year, it's bonus time at my house and my work. So, I'll show you a few things that I got while I was at the train show. The first thing we got was a new tank car. It's actually an old tank car that has had a little bit of love to it and all that kind of stuff. It's an Atlas 23,000 gallon car, so it's in pretty good shape and all that. That's going to be good for what I'm going to be doing in the later years. The next thing I picked up was a standalone well car from Walthers. It's in really pretty good shape. It's kind of nice because it's most of the ones that I have are TTX. This is a CRLE, so it'll give me a little bit of diversity in container train when I get around to it. My next is a small kit for a insulated box car. It's also another Walthers item that I was able to pick up. It's been a while since I found them. Been having problems finding some insulated and refrigerated cars, so that was kind of nice. The next thing that I got are some Roundhouse bulkhead flat cars that basically were started off as kits, and this one guy was selling the built-up ones. So this one you can see is a Longview, Portland, and Northern, which will go nice in the train set because it represents a little bit of the area that I'm around. And then the other one that I got was a Burlington Northern. So both of them were done really nice, weighted well, and they were a pretty good steal too. I think they were 10 bucks a piece. The tank car was, most of the stuff here was under $15 a piece. So I think I got some pretty... Last thing I got was this recreational vehicle bus. Okay, it's Johnny Lightning safari type bus. You can see it's got like simulated pullouts, and it is HO scale. So that's going to be kind of a nice addition. We have to have the retired people be able to get to the city sometime too. So that'll be pretty nice in the layout as well, with all the vehicles that I do. So that was my haul from the train show. But as always, there's more. So the good thing is that the February time frame in my company is bonus time. So it was time to do a little bit of shopping. So my next little trip was a little bit shopping on the internet, and then a trip down to Portland to a hobby shop. So the first thing I was able to get was an undecorated tank car from, this one came from Micromark. They were closing these out. I was hoping to get a little bit more of a fleet of them so I wouldn't have to deal with as many tank cars, but I wound up just getting one. But this will be numbered up and lettered up, kept in the black shape to use on the new layout as well. Not the one that I'm building, but there's a future layout that's going to have a refinery that's going to be in the works. The next thing was, I live up in Washington State, which has actually high sales tax. And so when we make big purchases, we like to go down to Portland, Oregon, because they have no sales tax, which is kind of nice. So there's a train store that I like to visit down there called Tammy's Hobby. They're kind of one of the old-time hobby shops that has a lot of everything. And they have a good selection of model railroad stuff. So I was able to get this Union Pacific refrigerated car. Well, it's not a refrigerated car, but an insulated box car to go with the solid gold one, which will work very well. It's a nice Union Pacific Walthers mainline, brand new in the box for like 20 bucks. Then, because I do a lot of truck modeling and all that kind of stuff, I decided to break down and get my truck scales. Those came out to be pretty nice. Again, a good price at like 20 bucks. And then the last thing I realized was maybe I should get something to clean my tracks that I have currently, because I'm doing all the dust and the cats and all that. So I just went and picked up the Tidy Track by Woodland Scenic. So I'm going to be trying that out, see how that all comes. So that was one of my little purchases at my hobby, kind of what I consider my local hobby store. There's some good ones in the Seattle area, but sometimes it's just nice to get to Portland and get out of the big city. And finally, as of late, I've been doing a little bit of eBay shopping for bargains. Of course, those of us who have been in the business for a while know that there's not a lot of bargains on eBay. I was able to capture a couple of these little stubby tank cars, which are kind of neat. I think they'll look kind of nice. Of course, this would be used for some heavier loads in tank cars and all that, and they were quite reasonable. I got those pretty nice, and the sellers on them did a good job of packing and getting them to me. The next one is from CMRP Products. I wanted to try and see what their decals look like, so I got some police decals and some fire department generic decals. I'm going to put those on some different trucks and see how that comes up. I've also got some more stuff coming from those guys. I'm just waiting on that. Needed a piece part for one of my engines to put dynamic brakes on it. The next was I decided to take a chance on the Chinese crossing lights. So I got a couple of sets of the crossing lights that come with the flasher system. Doesn't come with the activation system, just the regular hand flashers. And it also came with the wires and all that. It was packed in some really nice packaging and all that, and they were fairly inexpensive. The one thing I did find is looking at them in the descriptions, you really got to look at what the measurements are on them, because sometimes the measurements, even though they say HO scale, they're not. They would be way too tall for that. So these actually measured out about the right size. I think they're about 2.5 centimeters high, which makes them right around the correct HO scale. And then by far my biggest purchase, which was really, really nice, was I was able to get my hands on an articulated Burlington Northern Santa Fe auto rack. So these are really hard to come by, and for some, they went out fairly quickly. The one thing that I would really love to see is that the actual people who make the cars and stuff like that, they start seeing what's on eBay, what the prices are going for, and maybe do some re-releases of some old units that people are collecting, because there's a lot of times that they've made the runs, they're done with them, and then you can't get them anymore, and people want trains and all that, and we wind up paying really high prices for them. This one I actually got under retail. It was like about 40 or 50 bucks for it, complete with shipping. So I'm really looking forward to seeing that on the layout too. So that's what I've got for now. I still have a couple more things coming in from the mail, some more tank cars, I believe. And that was kind of my buying spree to just set myself up for the future and do some more things in the hobby. So these were kind of my hauls for the month. So hope everybody has a good time and enjoys the video. Thanks a lot. See you later.